us to collaborate, especially not just on a local level, on a national level, and then on an international level. And so this project, I have an ally, a white ally. His name is Josh McPhee, anarchist. He's a really well-known author. He wrote Stencil Pirates. He wrote a book recently about anarchist art. And we were kind of toying with the idea, and he wanted to make a book that was around political graphics being used royalty-free. And so we talked, and I was like, you know, you really need to work with a person of color, because you're going to talk to all these people, and they're going to be like, I'm not going to give you any of my art. I said, this needs to be, we need to have a team that's just not, you know, just the usual you know, white kind of anarchist dude. I'll work with you on this. And for 3 years, we collected radical graphics from all over the country. Okay, and what we did is we put out a call, and we said, hey, we need, if any of you Google workers' rights, logo workers' rights, say you're making a flyer and you want to find a symbol for workers' rights, what's the most common symbol you'll get? No, you'll actually get the hammer and the sickle.
Whoa!
Okay? Now, does that represent workers' rights today? No way. No way. I mean, who has a sickle? I mean, you know, hardly. So, but you also can kind of see the fact that there's such a lack of graphics that deal with our contemporary movements. And that's because art production, radical art production, that just shot up in the 60s and 70s when Reagan came in, and they were telling the NEA, stop funding these artists because all they're doing is all this art about gays and all this. You have also the production of art that was starting to go down, and not through the 90s, same thing. The war, I think, has been the biggest motivator for people to start doing political graphics again. And so we noticed that as artist activists, we said, we got to collect this. We also got to tell people, make new art about what we're facing today that we weren't facing 30 years ago. Militarization of our borders, you know, genetically modified foods, food production, urban gardening. You know, we're dealing with stuff around being queer, being trans. You're not just gay, lesbian, you can be trans, bisexual, queer. There's all these things you can be. Where's the art around that, right? And so we developed a book called Reproduce and Revolt, and what this project is really around saying, what do our contemporary movements look like today? And all these graphics are royalty-free, which means any of you could use them royalty-free without a cost. And they're all in black and white because we wanted graphics that people could put on their shirts, on their banners. This is a piece by Christy Road, Reclaim Yourself. This is the new Our Bodies, Ourselves. You know, she's sitting on a huge pile of vibrators. You know, this is the decade that organizations like Good Vibrations, or, you know, Good Vibrations is a workers' co-op, but where, you know, we're embracing new ways of what it be of our sexuality that didn't exist. That we didn't openly talk about 30 years ago. This piece on asthma. Asthma is now almost, the rates of asthma are so high in communities of color. This was not happening 30 years ago. Asthma in the United States is such a huge problem in the flatlands. It's mostly affecting young kids of color.